I've been playing Final Fantasy Tactics since the 2007 release of War of the Lions on the PSP. I revisited the original on the PS1 using physical copies, emulators, and now my Mr. FPGA that I like to hook up to this giant CRT I have in my living room. In a time where Square Enix seems to be dead set on creating HD 2D remakes of classic RPGs from their past, I had always wanted something similar for Final Fantasy Tactics. Unfortunately, while FFT has received an enhanced remaster, they chose to go a different direction, improving the quality of many aspects, but leaving the sprites mostly the same, opting to smooth out rather than recreate. This leaves them a bunch of blobby amalgamations of pixels, particularly in comparison to the models from something like Dragon Quest 1+2 HD 2D. Despite this, the enhanced edition of Tactics still brings a lot to the table. Brand new cutscenes, voice acting, a recreated UI, and plenty of quality of life decisions that I feel streamline a lot of the process without taking away from the game's original charm and grind. If that sounds like something you are into, join me as we explore what exactly Final Fantasy Tactics Ivalice Chronicles can offer you that the original and PSP versions do not. Additionally, I'll be keeping this spoiler-free for you guys, since it's not a full-on retrospective. Don't worry. Final Fantasy Tactics follows the journey of Ramza Beowulf as he navigates the world of nobility and how it intersects with that of the common folk. A huge aspect of the game is commentary and criticism of those in power, and how that power is used to abuse those that are considered lesser than. Many of the individuals in charge are those born into that world, and have done little else to earn that title for the people. It's a game of subterfuge, politics, and suffering, and comes at a time where the story of Tactics feels more relevant in the moment than ever. Throughout his journey, Ramza has to struggle with morality and what is the right thing to do in many given situations, alongside consequences that could see the death and destruction of countless individuals. What is justice, and what is authority, and what can we do to make a better world for those around us while spilling as little blood as possible? Are we doing the right thing at the moment, and where does empathy come into play? It's a wonderful tale with iconic scenes that are being brought up even today. A storyline so full of parallels towards the world we live in that the writer, Yasumi Matsuno, stated in an interview for Den Faminiko Gamer that the release of Tactics came during a time of great economic and class struggles for Japan. The main theme of the game being those that have the power and those that do not, and how they interact with one another and what injustices are produced out of it. According to Matsuno, after 30 years, the world has not changed, and this is still a problem, keeping the themes of Tactics increasingly relevant and therefore valuable. This story struck a chord with so many that it still gets brought up today, and even has influenced fan images, most notably the iconic one that includes the line, "If the penalty for a crime is a fine, that law only exists for the lower classes." It's a powerful statement that rings true, but wasn't even in the game, despite what some people seem to believe. And they believe this because it could so easily fit within the dialogue and themes of the game itself. Ivalice Chronicles offers two versions of the game for you to play through at your discretion. The classic version looks to be a faithful port of the original PS1 entry while including very minor changes for modern PC and console play. If you were looking to play just as you remembered on the PS1, this would be the version for you, and it runs smoothly and somewhat seamlessly. It still needs to be opened up in its own executable on PC, and offers little to no settings to let you change the graphics, resolution, etc. On top of this, it is using the updated War of the Lions script rather than the original for some reason, which is an odd decision considering the War of the Lions content is not included in either the classic or enhanced versions. Why is that? Well, director Kazutoyo Maehiro stated he and the team that worked on the original release of the game wanted to pay respect to it by building off what they had worked on at the time, rather than War of the Lions content that was developed by other individuals. They felt the game was complete as of its original release and wanted to place a spotlight on that version specifically. The Enhanced Edition offers a bit more in that regard, with an updated script, additions by Matsuno himself, and a fully voice-acted experience. With this in mind, I'll mostly be focusing on the enhanced version to discuss various changes and what they improve or detract from the original. Before that, let's talk about the core of the game itself. It should be clear by now, looking at just the original gameplay, I am a fan of Tactics as a series. Both the original, the Advanced series, and Matsuno's previous game, Tactics Ogre. In fact, I'm a big fan of SRPGs in general, so with that alone, you have my recommendation to give Tactics a try in some capacity, but let's look at why that is. Final Fantasy Tactics is a game of freedom and growth, pulling from themes of other Final Fantasy games such as crystals, jobs, etc. You'd feel right at home here as a fan of the series. It's a game that lets you take any base level squire and turn them into one of several jobs that can be unlocked within your journey. You can go from being an archer to a thief to a dragoon, or branch out to like ninja and other jobs that are unlocked based on job level requirements. Characters have both a base level and a job level, and what stat increases you receive on a base level are based on the job you have at the time. Job levels in turn are constrained specifically to the job you are focusing on. Your level 5 character could be a level 3 black mage and a level 2 time mage as an example, and you aren't locked into these at any time, so your character can freely move back and forth between them. The benefit of this is that a character can take the abilities of one job and attach them to another. Using the example we just talked about, a time mage could attach the black mage job ability, and then any spells they learned as a black mage would be usable to them on this different job. You have room for one base job ability collection, a singular parry/counter ability, a singular passive, and a singular movement ability. And each job in the game offers an assortment of these that you will unlock via job points with some overlap here and there. As such, not only are job points experience for the job itself, but a currency used to unlock skills that can then be equipped onto the character regardless of what job they are at the time. This level of freedom and customization is the heart of what makes Final Fantasy Tactics so special and allows you to not only explore what is possible in terms of synergies, but freely grind out to your heart's content in order to build the perfect job before the next story beat. Unlike that one other Enhanced Edition port we got. To this end, every action you take, whether it be an attack, an item, an ability, etc., will provide the character with experience and JP that can be used in the future. This means it is always beneficial to have your party members do at least something on their turn, maybe even attack an allied unit, as this still provides the bonuses described. The heart of the game itself is in the name, Tactics. Through strategy and making use of every skill at your disposal, as well as the environment, you can make the most out of any situation to overpower the enemy. If you want to consider which side of the enemy unit you should attack, if you want to decide the direction you should face at the end of your turn, if you want to make use of elevation to better attack individuals from range. This is the game for you, and there's all of these little elements that work together to give you a lot to think about for every unit on every turn. People like to claim that FF Tactics is incredibly difficult, but that's not really the case. It just expects you to use the mechanics given to you, and it's easy to wrap your head around them the more you do. If you invest in a character and try to synergize or optimize them even slightly, you'll have little to no trouble, which makes the added difficulty selection in the enhanced version all the more welcome. Tactics is a game that asks the player to invest in risk the more powerful an ability you want to use. Not always, but spells, for example, require time investment to cast, and most will always have an AoE element to them. Considering friendly fire is possible, you need to make sure you don't hit your units who may be adjacent to the spell you are trying to cast. Little things like that on top of everything else make your movements and decisions feel more purposeful, and you can't just blindly advance on an opposing team unless you greatly overpowered them. You also have the advantage of knowledge in knowing when these casts will trigger. You'll always be able to check the turn order of enemies and see how your actions will change said order as you play. All the information you need is at your disposal, even more so in the Enhanced Edition, and this makes the game, especially now, easier to break that barrier of entry than you might expect. It's not as daunting as you may have been told, and offers a wonderful strategic experience if those are the types of games you enjoy. So what does the Enhanced Edition actually offer us? I won't be going over every change in the Enhanced Edition, but do want to discuss some of the major ones that I feel make the greatest impact to the game. The first of which you may notice are the new difficulty selections available to the player, Squire being the easiest, Knight being what I would assume is normal, and Tactician offering a greater challenge. Again, the game has a reputation for being difficult, but once you get the hang of it, this is no longer the case, so the added difficulty is a welcome challenge for both people used to the original and those who just want to give it a shot. We also have improved cutscenes added, while the classic version still plays those from the PS1 era. These are brand new and contain various changes, some of which were added in War of the Lions, such as Dolita showing up in the initial cutscene before Orban Monastery. Alongside this, the game has a reworked script that is fully voice acted, and you can choose between the English and Japanese options. Much like another Ivalice game, Final Fantasy XII, I found that the dub went above and beyond in quality, and even had returning actors from other Final Fantasy entries such as Ben Starr, who played Dice Dard, Beowulf, and Clive in Final Fantasy XVI.
I hear you were decorated for your first victory, Ramza. They sing your praise from on high.
The game allows you to fast forward or skip most conversation scenes within the game if you'd like, and also has an auto advance feature so you don't need to mash the confirm button after every speech bubble pops up. This is a minor issue, but I found it really annoying that you could try to give yourself a more fluid and cinematic experience by turning on this auto advance, but while it was on, the game wouldn't remove the little UI element reminders at the bottom, which took away from the experience. If you wanted the scene unobstructed, you had to work through each dialogue manually, and that was rather unfortunate. On the UI, I found the updates to it to be phenomenal in terms of offering information. All aspects of the battle are available to you at a glance, from a character's bravery and faith to when they will get their next job level. And while it holds that modern Square Enix minimalist sheen, it still offers character and UI elements that we have come to expect from the Tactics series. Not the original, mind you, as that was fairly minimal in its own right. It's smooth and functional, although I did find it fairly clunky to work through when checking out my party and trying to change/view jobs. Even there, however, we have a boatload of information at our disposal that makes planning job advancements even more clear for the player. You can quickly check out the job tree and see what job levels a specific character needs in order to swap. You can even make job loadouts that let you prepare characters and quickly swap between sets before a fight depending on the situation. The overworld map has also been reworked in multiple ways, providing a graphical upgrade as well as the ability to check what every town offers at a glance in terms of equipment so you can quickly decide where you want to go. Random encounters have been made completely obsolete. They still show up, but you can flee from them at no penalty, so they don't really stop you from progressing if you don't want the interruption. But you do have the ability to search for battles when on a tile, so you can skip or find encounters whenever you want. Generally, I'm not a huge fan of when Final Fantasy games offer a means of removing encounters entirely for remastered releases, but considering how long a single encounter can take in a tactics game, I think it's a welcome improvement, especially since it's so easy to find encounters immediately, and there is a lot of incentive to encounters already due to them scaling to the highest level unit in your party, meaning you can grind and steal gear that will make you more than ready for the next story beat. A big change surrounding this is the concept of chain battles and how players can escape from them mid-chain if they so choose. There's a notorious fight in Tactics that you can accidentally softlock yourself into if you don't have multiple save files. It's a fight where you play as Ramza slowly and can trap yourself in an unwinnable situation. I still remember this vividly, as do many players, because I had to find a way to buff the speed of Ramza constantly while running away in the fight until I could attack the enemy like 5 times in a row or something. It was brutal, but I did it, and it scarred me forever. That scenario is no longer an issue in this enhanced version, luckily for you. Battles themselves have received countless quality of life features as well. One of the biggest for me is the ability to speed up animations. As someone who grew up playing a lot of these older games on emulators that had said feature built in, it's always a positive to me when a game offers you the ability to still experience the content without skipping it, but not waste your time with the same animations over and over again if you so choose. Maybe that's a bit hypocritical considering what I said about the random encounters, but I don't equate those two things. Maybe you do, and that's fine. It's just personal preference at the end of the day anyway, and you don't have to use those features if you don't want to. In the original game, you could only make the formation of your units on a separate screen and couldn't see the actual field while doing this, which was insane. Now they have added this function to the field itself, which helps you better prepare for the upcoming battle by seeing what you are dealing with immediately. The camera also offers a tactical view now that allows you to have a top-down look at the battlefield, which is beneficial when certain angles make it difficult to see what's going on. My biggest gripe with this, though, is that you can't confirm any actions while in this view, meaning you need to use it, move to a tile with your selection cursor, and then go back into the normal view to interact with anything. Seems like a nonsensical decision to me. Most importantly, for those of you that are perfectionists or just extremely bad at tactics games, you can now easily restart fights from the start of a battle or restart at party formation. You can even leave fights to go back to grinding without reloading a save file, making the burden of time lessened extremely. The fights themselves aren't easier per se, but your ability to interact with them has been improved tremendously and makes everything feel more fluid as a result. In terms of quality of life changes for the player, nothing here seems to detract from the battles themselves, and simply makes everything feel more accessible as a result. All the challenge and need to grind and plan remains, aside from accidentally trapping yourself in a chain battle or random encounter, and that makes dropping in and out of the game feel extremely easy. especially since there's even an autosave mid-battle now, so you aren't locked into playing once you commit to a fight. And with a storyline that is so large, complicated, and ever-changing, the inclusion of the Chronicles section is a welcome addition, as it will allow you to keep up to date on the countless characters and parallel storylines all melding together within the world of Ivalice. In many ways, this can feel like the de facto version of Final Fantasy Tactics, even if I personally wish that War of the Lions content was included as well. Despite that content not appearing, there seems to be some Japanese exclusive content that has made its way over to this release instead, such as the sound novels being included. Potentially the weakest aspect of this entry revolves around the presentation of the sprites themselves, which look smoothed over and blobby in comparison to their older counterparts. Whether this is upscaling or some sort of other filter with touch-ups, I'm not sure, but I can say that it is incredibly disappointing to see Square go this route again, especially when other games like Dragon Quest have painstakingly redone the sprites for their HD versions. The same level of love and care would have been well received in this release, but they instead seem to go the same route as Tactics Ogre Reborn, which has similar issues. On top of this, there's a weird static film grain or burlap filter on the screen, like at all times, that can only be removed with mods currently. Additionally, the same upscaling doesn't seem to be there for the sprite animations used for spells. It might be there, but there is definitely a contrast between character sprites and spell animations that makes things feel inconsistent in design. Despite these issues, the environments themselves are bright and pop with their new HD scaling and depth of field. It's still kind of blobby, but works better within the environment at the very least, even if it's still the worst decision they could have chosen to go down. There's just way more that could have been done here that I wish they would have explored before releasing. While the art direction may not be what I would have appreciated from a remaster of this caliber, the core gameplay and quality of life improvements are more than enough to make up for it. Ivalice Chronicles offers a definitive enhanced version of the classic PS1 experience and is a welcome addition to my library, one that seems to have learned a thing or two from past remastered releases such as Tactics Ogre Reborn, with its level cap and shared experience inclusions that were generally met with disdain from many of the older players. It's a feature-complete experience, an amazing tactical experience, and the addition of voice acting really lends itself to the presentation, while the Chronicle offers a means for you to keep up with the storyline so you can better follow and understand it. If you were considering playing Final Fantasy Tactics for the first time or looking to return to it, now is better than ever, and the return to Ivalice is upon us. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for making it to the Patreon section, everyone. If you want to support me, you can head over to the link in the description. Shout out to all my G-rank tiers, including Alberio, sick name. I'm super rad, and the next video will be my training routine. You gotta stop changing your name, man. Dylan Delaney, Critical Link, Gloomerous, Backdraft677, Natsuki Mamamura, Brendan Hesse, Metalhead Frank, Wooly, Ralkar, Ashtray, Cyberworm, Jonathan, Strangely, Lute Hifumi, Rosalio, and Mr. Janky. And a special shout out to Mr. Janky, as always, for proofreading the script and helping me make it, as concise as possible. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.